What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 new weekend events that are going to be added in patch 6.2. Now, 2 of these we've actually already talked about, which are the time-walking events. One of them is going to be the Burning Crusade time-walking event, and that's going to be available for players that are 71 and higher. And the other one is the Wrath of the Lich King time-walking event, which is going to be available for players 81 and higher. And so I'm going to assume that there's not really going to be an itemable requirement for that, and so it's going to be a really good way as soon as players get to level 100, and people are probably going to be waiting. I'm going to tell you guys right now, people are probably going to be waiting for these time-walking events in order to gear up their characters, because the Time Walker dungeons now, instead of dropping 660 gear, they drop instead of dropping 640 gear, they drop 660 gear, and that's what was on the PTR now. And so I'm pretty excited about that, and I think that that's a really good change, adding, increasing that item level to make it, I guess, like a bigger incentive and a better incentive. And I also want to talk about, before we get into the other 5, because I told you guys I would do a video on the other 5 whenever they came out, and they came out, and so here we are. But anyway, I do want to kind of talk about the controversy about them being weekend only events. And I'm going to give you guys 2 perspectives, both from myself. Okay. So right now, I don't really do a whole lot on the weekends. Sometimes I'll go out with my friends, but that's kind of, it's like sporadic. Like sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It doesn't really matter the day. It's just sometimes it happens, right? And, I pretty much have my weekends open. Usually Sundays I spend, time with my family and do stuff like that. But other than that, I spend a lot of time, just probably just hanging out, right? But I'll tell you guys something else. Whenever I was younger, my parents were divorced, and so I would go over to my dad's house on the weekends, and so it would be very hard. It would be very upsetting for me if like let's say this time walking event was going on, and I had like 3 characters that I was ready to just gear out with stuff, and then I had to be over at my dad's, and I wasn't able to take advantage of this event. And so I can understand also, oh, one more thing is I actually used to also work on the weekends. And so on a Friday and Saturday, and, like after working like Friday and Saturday for like 12 or 13 hours a day, I was pretty tired out on Sunday. And so I didn't really want to go do a lot of stuff at that point either. And so, people who work on the weekends, or maybe they just want to spend the weekends with their family or off the game or something like that, I can see where this can be kind of disappointing for them. At the same time, I can also see why Blizzard wants to do it on the weekends in order to generate hype and, have everybody wanting to do those time walking events, wanting to do the Draenor dungeons, which is another one of the events that's going on, wanting to do pet battles, which is another one going on. And so it generates hype, and it kind of creates a sense of urgency of doing this stuff. Like, I think I've told this story a few times where I used to jog back from the bus stop in order to get home to do AV weekend all weekend. And so, I can see both sides here, all right? And I'm going to do something that I hardly ever do. I'm not going to pick a side. I have no idea what the best way of doing this is, and hopefully Blizzard does, and I will trust in them. And I also have the next one. Well, first I'm going to tell you guys what the event is, and then I'll tell you guys some good news, actually. So the first one's going to be the Draenor Dungeon event, and what you're going to be getting in there is you're going to get a bunch of reputation, not bunch, but you're going to get reputation on your character for different Draenor factions. And so we're talking Steamwheel Preservation Society, Arakoa Outcasts, Council of Exarchs. I don't really know. I think that's like Frostwolf Orcs for the Horde. I don't know about Shatari Defense, and I also don't know about Laughing Skull, which is the Horde equivalent of Shatari Defense. I don't know about those 2, but I'm pretty much assuming it's going to be like Arakoa Outcast, Steamwheel Preservation Society, and either Council of Exarchs or the Frostwolf Orcs. And so I'm really kind of excited about that, because obviously that's like something that people want to have, like, because Words of Draenor, like, reputation, it's like a Korean grind fest. Like, oh my god, like, you just kill the same mob over and over and over, and it really doesn't take that long. But whenever you're just killing normal level 100 mobs, it seems to take a whole lot longer than it does. And so I'm really glad to see that. I'm not sure how you're going to be able to choose what reputation you're going to be getting it with. Are you going to be getting reputation with all of them at the same time? That'd be crazy. But, is that what's going to happen? I don't really have the answer for that. But here's the good news, is Fat Boss, and I actually re-recorded this because I accidentally called them Fat Boys. But anyway, that was a little mistake that I had there. I didn't actually mean to do that. Anyway, they tweeted they didn't tweet Twitter. They tweeted Blizzard, okay, and they asked them if the Mythic dungeons, because the dungeon like weekend thing has to do with the Mythic dungeons, if the Mythic dungeons are going to have any new mechanics, or they're just going to be scaled up heroics. And Blizzard actually said that they're going to be implementing new mechanics, and the Mythic dungeons will actually have new mechanics implemented from heroic. And so I'm very excited to tell you guys that, because I was very disappointed when I just went in there there, and they seem to just be scaled up versions of the heroics. And it seems like that was not the final state, and I'm very glad to see that. So, I've been, like semi-negative about like some of the changes and things that Blizzard has done, but this makes me happy. Anyway, so the last thing that this Draenor Dungeon event does is that they give you a quest, and a lot of these things, the time walking events also have a quest, by the way, and the box and the time walking events. I'm not entirely sure if this was scrapped or if it's still going on because I didn't see it in the official patch notes on Blizzard. But back in, I remember reading some data mine quest text, and the box that you would get from completing, I think it was like 2 Time Walker dungeons, would have a 690 piece of gear. And so this is going to be a really, really, like these weekend events are going to be really, really geared towards gearing your character up, especially the Time Walking events and the Draenor Dungeon events. Because the other thing that Draenor Dungeon event is going to do is it's going to give you a quest where you have to complete 2 Mythic dungeons. And whenever you complete 2 Mythic dungeons, you get a Hellfire Citadel raid cache. And so that's crazy, right? And so, I mean, if you guys don't know what that is, that's the same thing you get from like the shipyard naval missions, and it's the equivalent of like the Blackrock Foundry follower mission cache. And so it's going to have a cache in there, and you're going to get a piece of Hellfire Citadel loot just from doing 2 Mythic dungeons. And so, some people are like saying that, oh, this is just giving out loot for free. I mean, it is kind of giving out loot for free, but they've been doing that ever since vanilla. I mean, like there are some times that giving out loot for free is not really a bad thing. And I think that this is a good point that they can be doing it. It's like a rising, was it a rising tide floats all nubs? Like that's kind of what I want to tell you guys, is because it's going to have people who are like me, like I'm totally geared out. I don't need to do this stuff, but I'm going to want to try and go for that cash, right? And I'll probably find a group and take a couple of people who might suck a little bit, and just to get it done as fast as I want. And I'm going to be helping those people out, and it kind of gets gets people going in the community. I remember we do that a lot in Burning Crusade. It'd be like 3 main raiders and like one guy who's like a social in the guild, and he's not really very good, and also somebody's alt. And so it kind of it as I said, it helps everybody. And so I'm glad about that. And that's probably my favorite out of the 5, and which is why I wanted to talk about it first. Now the next 2 are not really super amazing. There's a battleground one where pretty much you get triple honor. The problem with that, I mean, like nobody really cares about honor. But there is going to be a quest where you have to win a certain amount of battlegrounds. I don't know how many. And you'll get an extra 500 conquest points that are not added into your weekly cap. And so like most people have like a 2,000 cap of conquest points, which doesn't even calculate in there. It's just 5,000 right on the top. And, like you can still get your 2,000, and it's going to be no problem. And the next event is actually going to be the Arena Skirmishes event, which is going to be the same thing. You get, 3 times as much honor from the Arena Skirmishes. And after you win a certain amount of those, you also get 500 conquest points. And so that's nice. I'm glad about it. I want to have like more incentives for PvP. As I said before, PvP is like really, really kind of been ignored in a way in this expansion, and so this is like one little way to get people more into PvP and doing all that stuff, and so that's cool. Now the next one, I know this one's really going to excite everybody, is a Pexis Daily Weekend event, and you guys, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? You're going to be getting 3 times as many Apexis crystals as you would normally, and so that still doesn't matter, right? Because the grinds are just ridiculous. And I mean, they really should redo Apexis crystals. I don't know really what's going on with that. But pretty much if you fill up the bar, in 3 different places, you're going to, what is it? I think I wrote it down what you're going to get. Oh yeah, you get a bunch of oil. You pretty much get oil. And oil, by the way, is the currency you use in order to fuel your naval missions. And so that's cool. And so I'll definitely be doing that Apexis event. And so that's again another quest that's associated with these events. And so this is like, in a way, it's more content, but in a way, it's kind of like incentivizing old content. And that's not really too bad of a thing either. And the last one, before I get into like, I guess like my opinion of this, I do want to talk about the last one, which is actually, I'm really excited about this one too. Pet battle one. I'm not even kidding, by the way. I'm really excited because you're going to get 3 times as much experience per pet battle, and on top of that, if you win 5 PvP pet battles, you're going to be getting one of those ultimate battle stones. So I showed you guys that a while ago. It's like the one where it automatically will level any pet up to level 25. It's the epic one, where you'll get one of those stones. And that's going to be really great because I'm pretty sure you can do that on every character. And so that's like fucking awesome for me. And so you're going to be able to get one of the stones if you win 5 PvP pet battles. Now, can you just duel somebody else and trade wins? I don't know. But either way, I'm pretty excited and I'm happy about that. So, that'll again incentivize doing pet battles and everything like that. And I do want to talk about kind of the difference between creating new content and incentivizing current content. Now, the real thing is that a lot of content actually was added in Warlords of Draenor. It's just the content doesn't really have a lot of incentive to do it. And so these events kind of give that content more incentive and make it valuable and worth people's time to do. And so I'm going to kind of, sorry, I'm going to kind of be excited about this. I do hope that they're going to bring out some more. Damn. They're going to bring out some more content and everything else like that. And patch 6.2 is still in the making and everything. So I'm not really going to say one way or another. But this is not really, in a way, it's new content. I know Timewalking is like kind of new content, and the Mythic dungeons are going to be new content. But especially now with the new abilities, which is great again. And all that stuff is great. But at the same time, it's not new content, and that is a little bit disappointing, but again, it is incentivizing old content. I'm glad about it, and so great. Some people have been like very cynical about this and saying that it's a retention mechanic, to which I will argue, everything in the game is a retention mechanic. Like it's their job to retain you as a customer. And so, of course, this is a retention mechanic. So is raid lockouts. So are daily quests. So are it's like everything is retention mechanic. I'm not really going to look at this very cynically. It's just some bonus things, and this is the kind of stuff that I would really be glad if Blizzard did more of, because it's really kind of easy to do. It's just giving people extra stuff, encouraging people to play alts and to actually really get something out of it. And it's incentivizing content that might not have been very incentivized, or there might not have been a lot of reason to do beforehand. And so I'm kind of glad about this. And I hope you guys are too. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes. And I'll probably do some Mythic dungeon footage as soon as the abilities are implemented. But that might not be for a while. So until then, hopefully this this is positive. I think this is good news. I'm glad about it, and hopefully you guys are too. So that's pretty much all I've got. Thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.